I had to pivot. I had to pivot. It wasn't that hard of a pivot, but when it comes to AI and the fact that I was a naysayer, it wasn't gonna work long because I'm a tech guy. Like you look behind me, you see, like I'm a tech guy. I like technology. So it wasn't gonna last long. Obviously, I knew that too, but I was just hoping and pushing towards the correction for copyrights generally because that's been wrong since the inception of the music industry. So I was like hoping that this could be a Kairos point for everyone to be like, well, if we're all gonna get screwed over, let's all fix the music industry as a unit because yeah, let's do it together. Record labels, independent artists, everyone. We all see the evil AI. Yeah. But then, quickly, quickly, all the labels Bati and benched themselves with these AI companies. And yeah, the fight's over. You know what I mean? As soon as it started, it ended. But we're in a new precipice of this where I guess the companies are finally good enough to start confusing the average person or musicians or folk who are music lovers to believe that they found a new artist and then falling in love with the artist and the song and the music and the brand, the imagery, whatever. Then finding out whether it be immediately or days later or weeks later that that artist indeed was AI, that it was not real. I don't know if folks is faking it because to me, like I haven't heard an AI artist that I couldn't tell was an AI artist. But there's certain tells, especially if you're an engineer or music producer, you can clearly tell the quality difference, the sonic difference. You can tell by the perfection of the performance, right? Because like if you listen to radio music, performances are pretty perfect. Like the producers produce out, the engineers engineer out those vocals to be perfect performance. But there's something about a generated perfect performance. And then not even calculating or adding in, taking into account this hiss or frequency that just plays from music generated from certain platforms, specifically Suno. There's a there's a there's a certain texture in these digital renders. Now, why am I even speaking about this? Because I find it interesting. I just find this whole complex interesting that we're at a place right now where folks are being fooled. I don't think a year, a couple of years, a few years ago, folks were like laughing at the outputs that music generators were creating. Maybe not last year, maybe the year before. All that to say is, I'm saying is this thing is moving super dupe fast. I think it'll get to a place where, well, the video still is not like perfect, but I think it'll get to a place soon where someone's gonna drop a music video with song and everything, and they're gonna fool us into believing that's a real artist. Right now, it's just Sonics, and certain people are getting fooled, but eventually, it's gonna get to a place where the visuals are gonna look good enough, or they're gonna figure out a process whether they because they already have it now where you could put a wrapper over a video, right? I could take this video of me right now and upload it into AI software and have them put a wrapper over it where it replaces all my movements with whoever I want to replace it. I could put Super Mario here. I could put a sexy gal. You know what I mean? Pause. Like I'm not trans, but I'm just saying you could literally just pretend to be a gal. And to be honest, I think that's gonna be a trend. That's a next video for another day. But on the internet, if in real life, if in real life there was Enos envy or let's call it peen envy. There we go. That's easier not to get me in trouble. Online, there's boom boom envy, and I see myself participating in it because we post for attention. It's gal who want and love attention, but online attention is a general economy for everybody. It's a general currency for everyone. So you see guys, everyone behaving like gal online and doing things that are considered to be usually feminine behaviors online. Uh, like I said, I'm saying this because I see it within myself. When I'm like, damn, bro, chill out. You don't need to be moving like that. It's not that deep. But within the social world of women, they do any and everything they got to do to get their attention or to make sure, they win it within their social group. For men, they're just hierarchy. Anyways, that's going off topic. I'm not gonna back on topic. This music thing and the AI, right? So imagine now. Okay, I lost. I lost it. I lost the context of what I was speaking to. But just to make a point, come home for folks who's still here. When it comes to AI and the fact that you have over 100,000 songs being uploaded per day onto these DSPs, and some estimates are saying 50%, 60%, 40%, 30% of that music is AI. I'm assuming it's going to be around 30 to 40%. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's days that it's as high as 60% because while it takes me so long, like in a couple days, I'm dropping my single, and it took me very long to work on that song, to edit it, to like I produced the music, I wrote the lyrics, I recorded, mixed, I did everything. I did everything. And then someone could do something not to my quality, because my quality kills Suno, but to a competitive level, to a level that is considered competitive to the audience, to the audience, in 30 seconds, in 10 seconds. I don't like, I haven't logged into my Suno account in a while, but it was pretty dang fast to generate music, like seconds. And if now folks is generating music in seconds, that can confuse folk and have them online complaining, saying, yo, that artist is not really an artist. They're AI artists. Yo, this song I was playing and I loved it. I fell in love with it. I found out it was not even a real song. It's an AI artist. Yeah, that's showing us a couple things. Showing us a couple things. That we've had the talent in the music industry, but the music industry didn't know how to bring it to the forefront. Because AI is going through and scraping data, scraping all the things that is considered to be valued by human attention, because that's the only way AI knows how to choose this versus that. That when people want this result, they seem to give attention to these algorithms or to these pieces of content or to these, you know, products or whatever the case may be, and it surmises if I want to get a similar result, I will need to create the same ones and zeros, essentially. But when you see 100,000 songs and over half of them could essentially be made by AI in a few seconds and be competing with what folks who are professionals, 20 years plus, 30 years plus, take weeks or months or years to create and perfect, then the conundrum has eaten itself. Like it has eaten itself. The whole idea of art being art and music, when like a folk compare and complain and be like, man, that's what they used to say when folks started sampling music in hip hop, or that's what they used to say when everyone started using auto tune, or that's what they said when folks left from musicians to beat machines, or they left from no. I think any person who tries to use those type of excuses don't understand what's actually happening. That they don't understand. So we're in an interesting space where like I just found it hilarious, not hilarious, but just interesting, like I said earlier, that people are online complaining saying don't listen to that artist, they're fake, they're not real, or they're not really saying don't listen, but they're more like, I'm disappointed, I was duped, I was punked, I've been punked by by life because the entire industry had opportunities to take the people who could have sounded like these new artists, these AI artists, these people who sing as great and produce as great and mix as great, because that's clearly, like I said earlier, where the AI is drawing the inspiration from. The industry, the labels, the backers, the investors, the managers, the producers themselves, and the artists ourselves, we failed at appreciating the hierarchy of talent. That's what we did. We failed at appreciating whether what regardless of subgenre, wherever the subgenre is, pop music, hip hop, R&B, fusion, whatever. Wherever these places intersect, we always allowed the power dynamics to supersede. Oh, you're a son of so and so executive, or you're related to so and so, or you did this, or you have this much money, or you're coming with this much investment versus, oh, you created the most exceptional piece based off of talent that you honed, not talent that you purchased, not talent that you hired, and da 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 da. Because that's basically at every precipice that these are the small decisions that were happening in terms of competition. It's like, well, I'm a talented guitarist. Well, I'm not a talented guitarist, but I hired a talented guitarist to play on my album, and they're more talented than you. So I'm still going to, and you know what? Just to add insult, I'm not going to tell folk that I hired the guitarist. I'm going to take a picture with the guitar in my hand and make that my album cover. So folks are going to assume the guitar they hear is me. And whether I perform with a guitar on stage or not, who at that point, who cares? It was the first competition, just album sales, and you played your own guitar, but I hired a better guitarist, right? That's how the game already started messing up. But none of you guys, as fans, as regular folk, would have known that or cared about that. Like that wasn't a thing where it's like, okay, let me open the credits. Who played the guitar? It wasn't Christina Aguilera. Yo, bun Christina Aguilera. I'm listening to Judy Garland or whatever, whoever the person was who would have been playing guitar. No, it's like, yo, Christina Aguilera's tracks are bumping. I don't care who produced it. I don't care who wrote it. She's bumping. Like, whatever the track is, whoever the artist is. And that veil that the audience never cared about is gonna shatter. It's finally gonna shatter. The music industry's veil is finally gonna shatter at this precipice. There were so many previous precipices where it should have shattered, but it's gonna be this one where folks are gonna be like, "Oh, I thought it was a real artist, but they're fake." I went to go and find them on Instagram, and then their posts didn't seem real, or I messaged them and they didn't respond this way, or I went to try and find this account, or I went to try and find their Wikipedia page because the song's going viral. I couldn't, whatever. When folk get make it down those rabbit holes of these new artists, artist discovery, I'm expecting more and more folk to be disgruntled, and I don't know what's gonna happen at that point. It might force a labeling system where they're gonna have to label AI music as AI generated. And then it's gonna be the game of finessing people to think that your music's not AI when it actually is, and doing ways of getting the system not to think your track is AI labeled or should be AI labeled. And there's people doing that already. Obviously, there's certain platforms that don't allow AI music, and people are still trying to get their AI music onto those platforms. So all that to say, I guess it's like I'm wondering whether I should be joining them. Should I be trying to beat them? Because, like I said at the beginning, I had to pivot. I was quick to be like, yo, one AI, one out this, that. But seeing how the consumers are utilizing the product, seeing how other consumers are disgruntled at the product, and then seeing how the industry itself is set to evolve and integrate, and then also seeing my implicit, like, or complicit, or whatever, my behaviors in terms of me having some AI plugins. I don't really use them, but I have them on my computer. And then other ones that I do use often, like Stem Splitter. I use Logic Stem Splitter pretty often. Um, Auto Tune I use. Arpeggiators, even though arpeggiators aren't considered AI, but machine learning and machine assisted processes to produce music that was originally produced with skill and done by hand. Um, so I can see, like, I can see the complex of the situation. I can see both sides, but in reality, like I said, because the art side wasn't already handled, musicians were already being screwed over from the inception of music. It's not like, oh, we're replacing real estate agents. Well, whatever. All real estate agents be making money just middlemaning houses that everybody needs to live in anyways. So, like, why do we even really need a real estate agent? Let AI replace the real estate agents. These guys just making money for middlemaning houses, and everybody needs to live in a house. I could understand that, right? Because you're like, all these people just making money middlemaning things that we need to live. Everybody needs a shelter. There should just be a mandatory or a platform that anyone could log in and buy a house, and you don't need to be paying 20%. 20%, obviously not 20%, but whatever percentages to a real estate agent. Just a man who's saying, oh, look at the bathroom here. Oh, look at the tile. Oh, look at the walls. You understand? In music, it's not nothing. It's not needed. Like, music's not it's not mandatory for your life, for your day. Yet people are appreciative of the most lazy approaches to middlemaning music, to, like, you know what I mean? Because that's why the pop scene exists. Because you have just a brand, and everyone else is doing the art, but they middleman the interaction between you, the audience, and the actual artisans, the actual creatives. This face, Britney Spears or whoever, didn't actually make the beat. So yeah, this video getting long, but by now you should understand the temperament, my internal temperament, and how I sit on the fence of a situation that is this controversial. Because you have to be current in order to do well as a STEM supporter. You got to be current. You can't be in STEM and just chilling and waiting for the whole game to change to take on any type of new um, improvement or progression in your field. You got to be willing to be a first adopter, but also stay partial or balanced in terms of seeing whether you need to jump off the boat or fully embark. Anyways,